what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Hey everybody, welcome into The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. This is episode 101. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burleyman Gaming and Turn-Based Carl. Burley, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. I don't know why, but I just had weird tossing and turning through the night. How are you guys?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. Carl, how are you?
Good. We had a good week of things to watch to entertain us.
Oh, yes. Yeah, a lot of stuff that we're doing here on the Arena Productions. We'll be talking about that later on. So, yeah, we got a great show for you. Obviously, Gamescom was this week. So, of course, our topic of the show, we're going to be talking about announcements and our reactions to Gamescom 2022. We'll be talking about that. And, of course, in our weekly news beat, we're going to talk about KOTOR. There was some news about KOTOR this week, Knights of the Old Republic. Phil Spencer had some comments about the Activision Blizzard deal, as well as, for example, console exclusives. We're going to talk about that. The PlayStation 5 prices are going up in most regions of the world, except for the United States. We're going to be talking about that also. And then, of course, we're going to be diving into Gamescom and talking about the games that we're really excited about that are going to be coming in the near future and into 2023, of course. And then, of course, our new game releases for the week of August 29th through September 4th. Guys, it's almost September already. We're almost into the fall. Can you believe it? I mean, the fall season is almost here. But of course, out here in Japan, it's still like 35 degrees every day. So
yeah, it's like in the 90s here yesterday.
Yeah. So same
So
like
hot.
here in Japan. Yeah. So
It's still very hot. It's still very hot and humid over here in Canada.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting to Buffalo to actually experience fall. It's been a couple of years. So.
Yeah. So, yeah. And we're looking forward to the fall season and all the games that are going to be coming out there. So before we talk about the games that we've been playing this past week, as well as the weekly news beat and the topic of the show on Gamescom 2022, here's a brief word about where you can find the podcast.
Before the crew discuss what they have been playing, this episode of The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, in audio and video formats, will be going to Patreon in early access for one day after being recorded. So if you would like to support the show and become a patron at the entry tier 1 level at $1 per month and get early access to every episode in audio and video formats, exclusive post-show content in video format when recorded, as well as watch or listen ad-free, please visit patreon.com/thearena_podcast for further details. Weekly on Sundays, the podcast will be uploaded to all free podcast services, where you can find us on any podcast app for iOS or Android, and in video format on our YouTube channel, The Arena Productions. For the audio version, just download your favorite podcast app and search for The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. Subscribe, follow us, post a review, and leave us questions, comments, and feedback if you like, if that feature is available there, and spread the word about the podcast. We also have a Discord called The Arena Podcast, where you can join and chat with the Arena Podcast community, and the podcast audio website is at thearenapodcast.podbean.com, where you can follow us and leave questions and comments as well. For all information regarding the podcast and our entertainment and pop culture related content, along with our blog and forums, visit the official website of The Arena Productions at www.thearenaproductions.com. Finally, you can also follow us on Twitter at The Arena AMPGNP, as well as on Instagram at TheArena_podcast. Now, back to the show.
All right, guys, let me go ahead and start. I played a couple of games on Game Pass this week. And the first one I'll talk about, I'm just going to talk about it briefly. Opus Echo of Star Song. I started playing a little bit of that. It's a text-driven, side-scrolling adventure developed by Taiwanese independent studio Sigono. And I don't know. I just started it really, and basically you're going into these asteroids and looking for like relics of an ancient civilization, so to speak. But it's kind of like a love story between the male and the female protagonists in this game. And I think Burley, I think the voice, if you play the Japanese voice in this game, the male protagonist voice is the same as the character in Judgment of the young guy with the mask that's running around the city. And
Oh, yeah.
Kimura Takuya's character, of course, Yagami, is chasing him around the city. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the same voice actor for the
Oh,
main
right on.
protagonist. Yeah, I think so. But anyway, yeah, it's interesting. I will continue to play that. And the next game I have been playing, of course, Midnight Fight Express. Midnight Fight Express. It's basically it's like Hotline Miami. Basically, you're just you're going through these blocks. First, you're in like a warehouse, and then you fight your way through these rooms in the warehouse, and you're fighting with your fists. And then later, you're fighting with like batons, and then you get a gun. So you have like a handgun at first, but it's basically button mashing, when it comes to the fist punching and then dodging and stuff like that. You hit the LB button, to parry as well. So but it's just like Hotline Miami, and the music is very similar to the Hotline Miami music, the type of music. And so you're just running from room to room, and then after the first level, then you jump out onto the streets, and then you start fighting more street thugs, and basically the city has been overtaken by gangs and street thugs, and so you have to eliminate them all. So, yeah, I've been playing that, and it's supposedly on the Switch as well, but I'm liking it on the Series X that I'm playing it on. So anyway, that's been what I've been playing this past week. So Carl, I'll start with you next. What have you been playing this past week?
More Expeditions Rome.
Mm-hmm.
Still going well. Still loving that game.
Mm-hmm.
But I did get Soul Hackers 2 in the mail yesterday.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I pre-installed it, so as soon as I had the disc, I was like, all right, just drop it in. Good to go.
Yeah.
And I got to play, I don't know, a little, maybe an hour or so, maybe a little more. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, look, the people weren't kidding when they talked about it being very front loaded with some story, and you're not playing very much early on in the game, as a warning to anyone. But I do find like what's going on interesting. Like I like the sort of explanation of what's happening with the characters in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Like stylistically, it's really cool. I mean, I haven't played any of these Atlas games yet, so it's like in this vein. And this one is drawing obviously a lot from Persona, so like I'm getting sort of that vibe from it. And yeah, it's cool. It's really well done in that respect. And visually it looks really nice. So you can tell it is a bit of more of a budget type thing, but not in a terrible way. Just sort of like, some things are reused, or you can see like we had to save money here or there by doing certain things. Much like Scarlet Nexus was, I think, is similar to that, where you can tell that like they didn't have a huge budget and they made the best of what they could with that title. And I actually kind of liken it a lot to that in my early experience, in that it feels like a good game, and I enjoy the story and the characters, and like I want to play more. But like in this one, like for me, it's turn-based. Like I enjoy that more than that game's action gameplay. So like once I got into actually playing the combat and like starting to be able to walk around the first dungeon area, it's not really a dungeon, but and got to actually, get into some random fights and some, well, they're not so much random, but you can see the enemies and you can hit them and then get like an advantage if you do that type of thing. That's pretty typical now.
Mm-hmm.
And starting to use the different demons that you can, or the devils, whatever they call them, whichever one it is. Well, yeah, your guys are devil summoners, right? So. And they're it's cool because they have like all the devils like have personalities, and they can they'll be on the map and they find things and you talk to them, and you can recruit new ones. And I'm starting to I'm just like, all right, I'm starting to see the things you can upgrade and change and the gear you're gonna get or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting farther into that. I'm just pretty early. I'm like, I just got to the safe house that you go to early on, which again, actually, exactly like Scarlet Nexus, they have like a safe house that they go to. So pretty similar in that vein. So yeah.
Now you're
I'm
playing the game with the Japanese, for example, language track with English subtitles. Is that how you're playing it?
No. English dub.
English dub. Okay.
English dub.
So because I saw you mention something on Twitter about like some of the translation.
I just saw some comment. So someone put on, they commented on something that was positive, and they're like, "Oh, but like some article about like them saying the translation is bad for the English. It's like horrible." Okay. I'm like, first of all, no. I mean, like I don't know like literal translation, right? But I'm like voice acting wise, it's good.
Okay,
I have no problem with it. Okay. There was one guy who was really cringe, like this like boss that you fight who's like rapping. He's like an MC rapper guy, and I'm like, but like that's the character. Like, how is that the translation? That's the character I'm seeing on the screen. They didn't change it, so like, it is what it is. And I thought he was kind of lame. But the line that was referenced in that tweet, where they say something about taking L's, taking an L, that's actually your character who says that, and she's like throwing back at him like his stupid rhyme shit, and it worked really well. And I was like, oh, I loved it. I got a good laugh at him and a good smile. So I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. I actually appreciated that line. So.
I see. Cool. All right, Burley, you're up next. What have you been playing this past week?
I've been playing a few different things. I keep slowly working my way through Triangle Strategy. Really enjoying that. Continuing with my it is. I really do enjoy it. It's
do you have any criticisms of it? Because like obviously I loved it, but there's a small thing about like sort of I guess like level advancement, character advancement. There isn't a lot there, although I thought it was fine. It's just
I kind of wish that like the items to advance your characters to the next class, it's I can't get any more. Like I get one per beating a chapter or certain specific chapters. And it's like, so now I really have to choose which of these characters do I want to class advance. And now I've gone to like, okay, I'm looking it up now to see what they gain and what benefits, because it's just like, which one do I want to advance first?
Yeah, you really have to think about that choice. Like, because when you do it, you're probably going to want to use that character, right? You want to make sure it's someone you like to use, because by the end of the game, you won't be able to have everyone sort of maxed out. I mean, at least I don't think it's possible. There might be a way, but
cool.
I'm sure that's what the second playthrough's for.
Well, yeah. By then I did.
Nice.
But I'm also playing my Fall Guys, my daily addiction. Please help me. And then been streaming God of War 2018. That's been a lot of fun going back to that and just having fun with that. Right. And then I know one of our patrons here will love this. Tweel, shout out to him.
Shout out to Tweel.
I tried out Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and I streamed that for like about a little over 3 hours. It's good. I have some complaints. One thing is they do a bad job of going back from, they'll start voice acting and then they'll do now here's just text. You read it. It's like it's not a good mix of it. I think like in the 3 hours I played, I think it's been 40% voice acted and 60% not. It's like, come on, you have the voice actors. If you're going to charge full price, in my case, $90 Canadian for this, give me all voice acting. Give me all voice acting. Like, I don't get mad on the smaller budgetary games that don't give you full voice acting because they're not charging full price. You're charging full price, I'm sorry. And one thing is combat. Combat's kind of boring because, like, I just sit there because you auto attack. All your base attacks are auto attack, and then you just press the buttons to use your skills when they go. Like, they do have the thing of, you want to go for this skill, you want to attack from behind, so that way you can build up to your ultimate. But your ultimate can, even though it shows the animation of you hitting, miss. So, like, stuff like that, I just, it's like, it's not a game I don't know if I'll continue to stream.
Yeah.
See, you're hitting on exactly why, like, I'm not into action JRPGs. Just stuff like that really doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
You know, the voice acting thing, actually, I'm starting to, like, when I think about that more and more, I'm like, I really, really want voice acting in, like, the majority of my games. Even if I'm going to sometimes, like, skip it, I appreciate, like, it going. And if I get through it quicker and I want to go ahead quicker, that's my choice, right? But, like, I do really want to have that ability. Sometimes, like, I don't really want walls and walls of text to have to read. Even if it's well written, sometimes it's, and look, in a lot of these like Japanese sort of anime style games, they're not great dialogue. You know, I think Soul Hackers 2 so far is pretty good. I think the dialogue is good, and they have that feature which I love, that this is like a standard now of, like, there's a button you could turn on, auto advance. Yeah. So, like, it does a line of dialogue, like, and then normally it would read it, and then you would have to hit the button, but then now you would just guess at the end, goes to the next. Although that delay is slightly longer than I want it to be, like just a hair too long in Soul Hackers 2, where I'm like, I wish it would just flow a little better. But it's fine. And you know, a game like Expeditions Rome, which, like, is fully voice acted, like, I don't think there's ever a bit of text that's not voice work. I don't think, which is great. I love it. I mean, it's not like there's a good amount of text. So I wouldn't say there's, like, not a lot. Yeah. And then one thing I forgot to mention long ago, and it's the last thing I'll say. When we were talking about Pokemon, remember the big last show they showed Pokemon? Scarlet and Violet?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. They had voiceover, right? And they had on the screen, they're like, by the way, this voice is not in the game, okay? But you have someone talking as if, like, the character in the game was talking. And I was like, what the hell, guys? Just do it. Like, I was like, that was good. I want that. Put that in the damn game. Why are you doing this to me? Why?
Yeah.
Do you remember that, Bradley?
Oh, I remember it. Trust me. The Pokemon series, as much as I love it, it is lazy. They are lazy to do stuff. They always do the guys. They always do it in the guise of, we can't change too much because it'll alienate. And it's like, no, you don't want to change stuff because that requires more money and more effort to put in, and reduces on the profit size to them, I think.
It was such man. They had to put a disclaimer on the screen. I was like, God damn, guys. God damn.
Well, okay. Speaking of being lazy, in a sense, let's get on to the weekly news beat. So we had, of course, news about Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. And maybe those in charge were getting a little lazy, and the remake is reportedly moving to a new developer. And what's interesting about this, and of course, for all of you video viewers, of course, the link to the Polygon article is below. It's interesting in the sense that the company that's transferring this, is Embracer Group. They own Saber Interactive. So, and Saber Interactive is going to take over for Aspire Media in this. Yeah. So, I mean, whether or not this is going to affect, how much of a time frame this game comes out, we have no idea. But we got the news this week, according to Bloomberg, of course. So, what do you guys think of them transferring the game from one developer to another. Do you think this, makes the launch maybe farther out than we expect, or maybe this is going to be something positive? I don't know. Carl, what do you think on this?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't think it's going to be coming anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they were very much unhappy with the progress, so I can't imagine some new studios could come in and be like, "All right, we cleaned it up. It's ready to go next year."
Yeah.
And it's Saber Interactive, who, again, I don't know if you look at their their track history, I don't really think they have a lot there that says they're up to this task either.
Yeah.
And they specifically mention the Eastern European Saber Interactive studios, which, if you recall, Saber Interactive was working on the Witcher 3 next gen update, which still hasn't come out.
Yeah.
And that got moved in-house to CD Projekt Red. And supposedly that had something to do with the fact that those were Russian and Belarus studios over there.
Right.
And it's like, all right, well, you gonna stick those guys now on this instead? I'm like, I just don't know about that. It's not giving me any confidence.
Burley, your thoughts?
Yeah, this game ain't coming out. Like I forget what I had said when this initially, the first thing of them saying it was in a bad state. Them saying, I think I said like 2025 at the earliest.
Yeah,
this game ain't coming for years. Yeah, Saber Interactive, I don't know if they're the ones to do it, but going to be the ones to pull this off. But I think it's really just the pressure between Disney and Sony are pissed. So they are just trying to be like, here, we'll throw it to another one of our other studios that we have. Here, let's just throw it here, and we'll get you what we promised you. Please don't kill us. Please don't kill us.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be way on the back burner with all the other Star Wars games that are going to be coming out. And then, of course, there was the news just the other day. I think it was yesterday, actually, that it looked like Amazon was going to buy EA, and of course, EA is responsible for, of course, Jedi Survivor, which is going to be coming out sometime in 2023. But then, like hours later, Amazon said, no, we're not going after EA. So, but I mean, Jedi Survivor is one of the big ones coming out, as well as some of the other games. And we talked about that last week in last week's episode. So I think this is, like 2025 or way on the back burner, I think. So maybe Saber Interactive won't have so much pressure on them to get it out too quickly.
They're going to have pressure on them.
Not to get it out too quickly, I think. I mean, because of all the other stuff.
Not to get it out too quickly, but this is a beloved game. The fans for this game are hardcore. Yeah. And you have to get stuff right. You have to get the characters right and all that. You change too much on this, you're going to have an army of nerds wanting to burn your studio down.
Yeah. Sony's going to be mad too. They like, we paid for this timed exclusivity, and now we raised the price of our console, and we got to justify it. Give us our game, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and later in this episode, where of course we're talking about Gamescom for 2022, but we're going to be talking about the PlayStation price hikes as well. So we'll be talking about that later. So anyway, in the comments, let us know if you have any thoughts on when you think Knights of the Old Republic remake is going to be coming out, and whether Saber Interactive is the right developer to be working on this remake. So let us know in the comments below. All right, so moving on. So good old Uncle Phil, he had some comments this week. He feels good. He feels good about Activision Blizzard's acquisition progress. So, and of course, he also talked about console exclusivity as well. So, of course, Microsoft is assuring consumers that console exclusives are, quote, from what Phil says, something we're just going to see less and less of, end quote. So this is from, of course, the IGN article. And of course, the link is going to be below for you here. So all of you video viewers can check that out. So I'm going to read a little bit of some of the comments that he made. And about, of course, PlayStation, when it comes to console exclusivity. But obviously, earlier in the conversation, he talked about, that he thinks the deal right now is in a good place. Obviously, he's never made a $70 billion acquisition offer before in this case, but he thinks that so far from what's been happening, things are, coming along nicely. But then going on to the exclusivity thing, he says, quote, maybe you happen in your household to buy an Xbox and I buy a PlayStation and our kids want to play together and they can't because we bought the wrong piece of plastic to plug into our television, end quote. Quote, we really love to be able to bring more players in, reducing friction, making people feel safe, secure when they're playing, allowing them to find their friends, play with their friends regardless of what device. I think in the long run, that is good for the industry. And maybe in the short run, there's some people in some companies, I like how he says that, in some companies, that don't love it. But I think as we get over the hump and see where this industry can continue to grow, it proves out to be true, end quote. So anyway, that was Phil's remarks from this past week. So Burley, I'll start with you on this one, man. What did you think of these comments about, of course, the Activision Blizzard deal and how he feels about how that's progressing? And then, of course, on the console exclusivity issue.
Well, on his comments on the deal going through, oh God, the deal's not going to go through. Sell all your Microsoft stock. It's all going to go down. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. Yeah.
No, we're all confident. In all honesty, we're all confident this is going to go through. There's a lot of smoke being blown up, and politicians and other stuff acting like because they gotta look like they're doing something.
Mm-hmm.
So they gotta say, "Oh, we gotta take a look at this deal and make sure it's fine."
You mean like the FTC and yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But as his comments, I do like his comments and throwing shade because it's it's true. I hate that if I'm on one console and the other person's on another console, a friend of mine, it's like, frick, we can't play. We got to one of us has got to buy another device, another copy of the game, and all that stuff. I hated that because
another piece of plastic.
Yeah. Or just and now every time I go buy a game, now I got a question. I got to talk to people and be like, okay, what platform you playing it on? So that way we can all play together and all this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Just
specifically that comment. You're gonna say crossplay. I think he was actually very much talking about crossplay and Sony's sort of charging people to actually, or companies rather, to actually put crossplay in their games. So I feel like that was a direct dig on that there, not just necessarily like games not on certain platforms.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. Carl, you have any other thoughts on this?
Oh yeah. The deal seems to be moving along. It was approved or let through in Saudi Arabia already, if you saw that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a deadline, September 1st in, I believe, the UK. Their body, their organization, government, looking at, I think it's a CMA or something like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of the countries, it's September is like the deadline. So
they specifically have one where and there was some news about this saying like they might be looking more into it, but they have to say around that date if they're going to do a wider look into it, which would then obviously push back the possible day that this would go through. Mm-hmm. If on that day, they say, okay, we're good, then that thing we could expect maybe it'll happen by the end of this year. Who knows?
Yeah.
And some of the other comments, the exclusivity stuff, and there was a lot of debate on that. What he's talking about, what he means. I mean, and it's hard to say because there's many ways to interpret those things. Like I said, that the crossplay stuff could be very much part of what he was talking about there. Yeah. There was another comment about, like the exclusive stuff less and less console exclusive games. But there's a lot of that he could really be talking about, like games that are only on PS4, 5 and only on Switch that aren't also on PC or anywhere else.
Yeah.
Right? Because the model of Xbox has changed to like they don't have console really exclusives. Games that are only on Xbox anymore. That just doesn't exist. They're on PC. They're also on cloud. So you can play them on your TV, your Samsung TVs now. You can play them on your smartphones. Right there you go, bro.
Yeah.
Right there. He's playing what is it? Lost Judgment. He's finishing it up. Right? No, that's not on Game Pass.
But I mean, basically, he's hinting at the fact that console exclusivity is like a thing of the past, and
exactly, yeah.
So, I mean,
I don't know that he's saying like we're not going to have any exclusive games to our platform at all in the future, because it's a bit of a stretch to look at it that way.
Yeah, but I like how he mentioned some companies. Yeah, some companies out there. You know who he's talking about.
Mm-hmm. Microsoft has been, just kind of making it pretty obvious that, like, Sony, you guys are the ones who are doing a lot of these things. You are the market leader, and you are controlling a lot of things, and you're not necessarily doing the things that are best for the consumers.
Well, speaking of that is an excellent segue, Carl, into our next topic. But before we get into that topic, let us know in the comments what you think of Phil Spencer's comments, and do you think the console wars are over now? Do you think console exclusivity is a thing of the past? Let us know in the comments. We'd really like to hear from you. So,
do you think there will be any exclusive to Xbox platform Activision games going forward? Exactly.
So let us know in the comments. Yeah. So anyway, perfect segue into our next topic. So the PS5 price increases are coming, but not to the United States. U.S. people have been spared. Yes. PS prices to increase in select markets due to global economic environment, including high inflation rates. So Burley, out there in Canada, you guys are out of luck. Out here in Japan, which is interesting because this is the home country of Sony and PlayStation, we are out of luck as well. Price increases are coming. And this is from the PlayStation blog, and I'm going to tell you some of the prices, the price hikes. So in Europe, basically, for the Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drive, you're going to be paying €549 for it. The digital edition, €449. In Japan, out here, the HD Blu-ray disc drive is going to be Rokuman 478 yen, which is 60. It's basically 60,478 yen. And the PS5 digital edition is 49,478 yen, which in English is 49,478 yen, including tax.
Can
Canada,
you translate that value, please? To
translate
English, to the dollars. How much of an increase are we talking about here in Japan?
we're talking about a $100 increase, basically.
Whoa!
Yes.
Lord.
Well, no. For the HD Blu-ray, $500. Yeah.
Oh, so the digital one is basically
almost $100, basically. Yeah, because it was like Yonmang yen before, like 40,000 yen. So.
Yeah. So the disc edition PS5 in Japan is about what in American dollars?
It's 131 yen to the dollar, 136 yen conversion rate right now. So I would say probably $650.
Oh, wow! And I'm sure Canada is equally bad in comparison.
Yeah, Canada PS5 with Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drive, 649 Canadian dollars. So basically $650. And then PS5 digital edition, 519 Canadian dollars.
Okay.
Yep. So
you guys making more money in Canada than in America? Because I don't know why this price is so high.
Yes and no. I'll just kind of take here because I'm one of the countries that is getting affected here. For us, it's only a $20 increase, which is
Okay.
good and bad at the same time. It's good, it's not as bad, but because you guys, that's just that before the tax, and we are a 13% tax to pay for everything. So you're gonna feel it buying a PS5.
Yeah.
I get it that they're doing the whole inflation, everything here in Canada is so inflated because of everything that's happened, COVID, and how they did certain things with grants and all that, giving people money to help people out. So to help try and pay for things, inflation has happened. We're at a high inflation, so things that used to cost me $2 in the grocery store now cost me $4 to $5. So I'm not surprised that this is going to happen on the PS5. I don't like it. Sony's still making profit on their games and everything. Like I would prefer Sony to eat it, but I also know they're going to do it. They're a big corporation. All these companies, well, not all, a lot of companies like this, they're always going to pass the thing on to the consumers, so that way they still have their same amount of profit.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, go ahead, Burley. Go ahead.
My only other thing, on this, is you're going to increase the price. You know what? You still have this is just going to turn more people off from getting it a little, but you also haven't increased the amount out there. I still know people in Canada that are having a hard time trying to get a PS5. I've gone in a few times in the last couple of weeks just to Walmarts and stuff with a buddy and just other people just to check around and stuff. You still can't find them. You can't see that or a Series X. I haven't even seen those in stores. I've only seen the S's. It's still hard to find these things.
Yeah. Australia, for example, the Blu-ray disc drive, 800 Australian dollars. And then for the digital edition, 649 Australian dollars. So yeah, Australia's they're going to be paying a lot. China, also, of course, the Blu-ray disc drive, 4,299 yuan, and then the digital edition, 3,499 yuan. So yeah, increases there, as well as in Mexico and the UK. So the UK, I don't think I mentioned this earlier. The Blu-ray disc drive version, 479 pounds, basically 480, and then the digital edition, 390 pounds. So yeah, so big increases. This is not going to do well for them PR wise, obviously, especially out here in Japan. That's going to be really interesting now with these price increases, especially as the holiday season is going to be rolling around. Nintendo is even going to make more of a killing out here in Japan now. Yeah. And then just think, Burley, if those Steam Decks start getting out here, it'd be interesting to see if the Steam Deck actually does well. But
Valve has that they did do a small story. Valve says they're ramping them out more now, shipping more and more out, which is nice for consumers that want it. So it's going to be interesting that Sony is taking a PR hit on this.
Oh yeah,
and yeah, they should. I can see, I may be able to see both sides on this, but you've just shown to the consumers that, hey, you've done a lot of stuff lately. Sony's done a lot of stuff lately that have not made people happy. Yeah. They are just continuing with the trend of, deal with it. We're passing the cost on to you. Deal with it.
Yeah, so I just want to say this real quick. This is from the Kotaku article, which mentions Microsoft and Nintendo's reply. Basically, they were, commenting on the price hikes and, making their stances. And Microsoft says, we are constantly evaluating our business to offer our fans great gaming options. Our Xbox Series X or S suggested retail price remains at $299, and the Xbox Series X is $499. This also applies to other markets and their current pricing. And then Furukawa Shuntaro, the Nintendo president, he said, quote, our competition is the variety of entertainment in the world. And quote, quote, and we always think about pricing in terms of the value of the fun we offer. Nintendo has sold more than 100 million Switch units so far, and it's important to maintain the momentum of our overall business, end quote. So basically, just shooting out there. For the time being, we're not raising our prices.
Mhm.
So go ahead, Carl. You were going to mention
Well,
something else.
you know,
Yeah.
Oh.
It's fine if you want to say something, then I'll go.
Go ahead, Burley.
I was going to say, Nintendo, they ain't going to increase the Switch. They increase that cost. You do, let's say, the light, you increase the light or anything, they are going to get killed because they still don't decrease their prices on any of their games. Everything's always full price except for the odd occasion we'll give you a game that's 4 years old. We'll take $10 off. They ain't going to increase their prices. They know they'd be killed.
Yeah, I mean the Switch. I always look at it as like they've kind of already increased their price by not changing the price over years, which usually goes down on these consoles, as well as adding a more expensive OLED console that, in reality, at this point in the stage of that console, should have been $300. Should have been the base price unit, and the base price should have been $250 by now.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, if you didn't notice, I'm wearing my PlayStation shirt today. You can tell. They are playing the role of villain,
for all of you
right?
video viewers. So for all of you audio listeners, you can't see this, but anyway. So.
It is the Decepticon logo from Transformers. They are currently, Sony is playing the role of villain, and they have raised their prices in everywhere but America. And if you don't see why, because as Burley just said, in Canada, there's a good amount of inflation. But guess what? In America, too, inflation has been a global issue. It's not just one country or another, right? It's been fairly high everywhere.
Right.
And the reason they're not raising it in America is definitely part of the fact that they are in a heated battle with Xbox here. And you can imagine that the sale ratio in America is pretty close to 1-to-1 on Xbox and PlayStation right now in this generation. And they don't want to lose that edge, because the minute they do, you will hear about it, and that will not be good for them.
Yeah, and it's the largest player base in the West. So, in the US. So
is, I really cannot believe that they actually did this. They are doing something that is really unprecedented. Like, this never happens with consoles, and for the most part, tech just doesn't really go up in price. Like, TVs, things like that. Usually, computers will go down in price. And so the expectation,
I was just gonna say, because mid-generation they came out with an upgraded Pro version, so that alleviated the sense that, well, we have to raise our prices. No, we don't have to, because we're coming out with a mid-generation, Pro console, especially during the PS4 generation. So now, I mean, we're not even 2 years into the PS5 generation, and they're raising prices. So it tells you something.
Right. Yeah, the Xbox One X was $500, and that was the price of the original unit. It's like they were able to sell you a much more powerful unit many years later at the same price. They didn't take the original unit, raise that price, and just say sorry, or even just leave it the same, like Nintendo, and say sorry, like, you want our stuff, like, this is what it costs, And
I was just going to say also too, and it's like PlayStation really hasn't ramped up continued to pump out those exclusives that they really wanted to. I mean, we're not even 2 years in, and when it comes to the library of PlayStation exclusives, I mean, it really doesn't stack up yet. So for them to jack up the price of their hardware without the games to play on it yet, I mean, that says something.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about their internal books and looking at it and saying, like, we want our profit margin on each sale of this console to look better.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. And they don't, there's nothing, they're just not, they don't care that the consumer is going to have to pay more. I mean, that's obviously, why should they care, right? You would think, but I mean.
Well, because they know gamers are suckers. Gamers are going, hardcore gamers are going to pay for it, whether it's $100 more or not.
And you should think it. I mean, I understand, like, you can argue that it's a business, and they should do what makes business sense for them. But it's always understood and been the model of the console market to sometimes sell your console at a loss, because you're going to make that money back. All the games and now microtransactions and services.
Right.
And that's still not going away. And Sony has raised prices in other places as well, charging you for upgrades and raising the price of the PS5 games to $70 instead of $60.
Yeah.
It's like they're not hurting for cash here. They're just lining their own pockets, and it's just disgusting. I don't think anyone should look at this
because they need those quality exclusives, right?
Yeah,
they don't want to degrade their quality AAA exclusives, right? So they need to...
Yeah, they want to be able to keep paying for timed exclusivities and extra exclusive quests for Hogwarts Legacy. Okay, that's the thing. They want to keep being able to money hat other places. That's really what they want to do. Okay, so I guess if you're a PlayStation fan and you like it when they take things away from specifically Xbox more than anyone else, then yeah, I guess you'll happily pay extra to do that. Okay, that's what you're getting.
Yeah, don't get us wrong. I mean, we love PlayStation games, but I mean, just the business practices that they're making at the moment just don't seem very consumer friendly. So to say the least.
Well, they're not consumer friendly.
Yeah.
I think Microsoft has a really good opportunity at the Tokyo Game Show to try to really impress the Japanese audience with Series X and S. And I don't know that they'll do any sort of price decrease, because I don't think that would be smart business sense.
If I were consulting Microsoft right now out here in Japan, I would say push the S as much as you can. Because I mean, it's $299. So out here in Japan, it's about sanmon yen. And with the PS5 price hikes now, they could really, really push sales on the S, especially. I mean, and it's small enough. And I mean, with Japanese households, it would be a perfect piece of, as Phil Spencer says, a piece of plastic.
Right.
To set on your, in your living room on the cabinet, and use for for your monitor or your TV. So yeah, at Tokyo Game Show, that's what I would be consulting them to do. I mean, just push the S as much as you can. Yeah.
It's a real opportunity. Microsoft can go hard. They have the cash to sort of take maybe a little bit of risk in maybe throwing in more extras with the console, because like I said, lowering the price is probably not something they'll do, but again, they really don't have to, because the competition raised the price, so they look lower just by sitting around where they are. So
I have to
add in, extra months of Game Pass, for example, included, or throw in digital codes for included games with the console.
Yeah. Well, what they're really pushing in the electronic stores now for Xbox, when it comes to Game Pass digital codes, are the 3-month Game Pass Ultimate. They're really pushing the 3-month ones right now. So we'll see how that goes later on. But anyway. All right, guys. So it's time to jump into the topic of the show. But before we do that, so guys, do you have any suggestions for the comments section for our last topic?
Tell us how much you think the PlayStation is really worth.
Okay.
So anyway, if you're in one of these countries, like in Canada in my case, and you don't have a PS5, is this now going to hamper your decision on buying one?
Right.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments, everybody, what you think of PlayStation and Sony raising the price of the PS5 in a lot of different regions here around the world. So, all right. So it's time to get into our topic of the show. So this week's topic for episode 101, announcements and reactions to Gamescom. And for all of you video viewers, I'm going to have the ticker going here below, and there's a few articles for all of the games and all of the trailers that came out during this week for Gamescom. So you can go and check those out and check out the trailers for all of the games, and some of them you might not have seen. And we're not going to be talking every single game. Obviously, it would take hours and hours, and we're not going to have like a 7-hour podcast to discuss every single game. We're just going to be talking about some of the announcements and some games that really caught our eye and we're really looking forward to playing that were shown at Gamescom. But before we do that, I just want to mention something about Gamescom and just watching some of the events. Of course, we had the opening night live again. Of course, we had the Xbox showcase, the live stream for like 6 hours. Then, of course, we had the Future Games event as well. But I mean, when it comes to Gamescom now, I'm thinking of, it's kind of like when I was living in the United States. You kind of watch the Tonight Show. It's kind of like the big show, in the evening after the evening news, and then the Tonight Show comes on. And then after that, you have kind of like the late show afterwards. And it's like not many people watch the late show. Usually most people are watching the Tonight Show or, the show that comes on right after the news. And then after that, they go to bed. So kind of in a sense, Gamescom is kind of becoming like the late show as to where, E3's announcements in June. Let me just say the June announcements, because E3 obviously is, kind of on a hiatus in a sense. It's only digital at the moment. It'll probably be coming back next year or the year after live again. But I mean, it seems like everybody is looking forward to the June announcements. It's kind of like the Tonight Show. And then the late show is Gamescom, where, of course, they're getting a little bit more of what they saw in June. Yes, there were a few other new game announcements, and we're going to be talking about some of those. But the majority of these games we had already seen in June or before that. So that's kind of my analogy of it all. I mean, for all of you gamers out there in Europe, and actually getting a chance to go to the showroom floors and stuff like that and actually see this stuff, that's awesome. And I love that you guys get a chance to do that, and for all of you out there in Europe that are really excited about Gamescom every year, I'm really happy for all of you that are able to get a chance to do that. But just from a viewer's perspective online, being out here in Japan and all, and for a lot of people around the world that are watching on their computers or, on the internet, maybe it's not as big of a showcase as the June event. In a sense, it's kind of like the late show. I don't know. What do you guys think of this? Carl, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts?
Well, Gamescom has never been like the main event, right? It's kind of the story.
Yeah.
Look, if anyone listening, you have any comments, I'd like to get your opinion, what you thought about this opening night live. Another one of Keeley's shows. For me, I enjoyed it. I always seem to enjoy his shows because, look, he gets a lot of games. And they aren't all new reveals this time, which no one really expected. But with the new reveals and games that we've seen before, but getting, new looks or even expanded looks that we really hadn't seen a lot of that game, I think it's a great show to watch. If you're someone who really cares about video games in the industry and wants to see a lot of cool games, like this is a good show. Watch the show.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Yeah, they do show a lot of games. They showed like over 30 games. I'd say probably more than half of them we had already heard about before, or we had seen some kind of footage of the game before. Like, for example, the Callisto Protocol. They show more of it. It's like I'm at the point now I don't want to see any more of the Callisto Protocol. Yeah. I just want to get into it and I want to play it. I don't want to see anything else about the cool water slide moment in the footage that they showed. That was really cool. But that's it. I don't want to see any more of that.
I was almost a little disappointed by that footage we saw because watching it, I was like, okay, it's Dead Space. Okay.
Yeah.
Like literally, like I was like, whoa, okay, you guys copied kind of everything. I know he's the original creator, but I was like, all right, you got the stasis thing going also right there. I'm like, I didn't realize, although the visual effect on it was pretty cool. I did like that.
Yeah.
I didn't like when they showed them like throw someone into that spinning, pillar in the middle there.
Yeah.
To me, it was just like, oh, it's like you threw him into a portal, a blank void portal, because he threw the body just kind of disappeared. It was like gone, like nothing happened.
Yeah, but we had seen that before too, and we had seen that before.
Well, we saw like a special death, right? Of like the player character with something like that. I believe, if I remember correctly. But this was throwing
they showed throwing one of the monsters into that. Before,
because they did it several times in this, and I was like,
yeah.
Oh, I would rather you show like some more gore there, show a little bit of a struggle for like the body getting crushed in this. It just looked like nothing. I was like, that's a little, I don't know. It's a little criticism, but I was like, you got to do a little more on that. Come on, guys.
Yeah. So, Burley, your thoughts on Gamescom as a whole before we get into everything else? What do you think?
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever really watched anything from Gamescom.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the opening night live as it was happening because I was working on the time, so I had one monitor up for work and one up for the Gamescom opening night live. I told work it was for the podcast, and this was I had to. If I didn't do it, X-Pac was going to break my thumb, so I said, "Okay, we need your thumb, so you best watch it." I enjoyed it, but yeah, this is not something like, in all honesty, it's not like E3 where I'm going to watch. Mm-hmm. This is a lot like, I don't know if I'll watch these live. I'll try to, but if I miss it live, But like you guys have both said, a lot of the games and stuff are games we've already known about and already seen. So it's very nothing new that we're getting in terms of new games. We did get some, but it's mostly stuff we've seen, and on some of it, you're like, okay, I've already seen enough. You've already got me with the game. Please don't show me anymore because you have the chance to lose my sale.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and get into some of it. I mean, let's get to the stuff we want to just quickly go over first. Obviously, Keighley comes out and during his presentation, he mentions, of course, that Sony is coming out with a new controller. So let's go ahead and take a look at that the controller. So I'm going ahead, for all of you video viewers, I'm gonna play the trailer for that now. So what did you think of this new controller? To me, it looks so much basically kind of just like an Elite controller in a sense, kind of like you can map how your control senses are when it comes to the Edge controller, just like kind of like the Elite controller, I should say, excuse me. So anyway, we don't have any price on it. We don't know when it's coming out, but they wanted to kind of do a world premiere and show off this new controller. What did you guys think of it? Burley, I'll start with you.
This, it's fine. Like, for those that want that kind of controller, great. But you know what? Two things we didn't get for it. When is this thing coming out? And price. Yeah. Those are the two things I really care.
They probably didn't want to mention a price after everybody was so pissed off at the PS5 price hikes, and everything. So they probably...
Well, the inflation... That was before that.
Yeah.
So,
and now you can expect it to be pretty damn high, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be like $100 at least. Yeah, because the DualSense is what, 70? Yeah.
100? I wish it was only 100.
No, probably 150. 150.
You know what it's going to be? $199 US.
Okay.
That's what I'm going with.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the Elite... wasn't the Elite around that when it launched?
Yeah, well, I have an Elite controller.
Was 150, right? But maybe the new one, I don't remember.
I have an Elite controller too, Series 2 Elite controller. I don't need this. I have the DualSense control. I have two DualSense controllers already. I don't need another one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I generally don't buy these type of things. I think the standard controller is great. I don't really need it.
Yeah.
Same.
The Elite 2 says MSRP is $179, but it's on sale for $154 right now
Mhm.
on Xbox's website.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if it's regular 180, you can definitely easily see the PlayStation 1 being 200, especially considering their DualSense controller is already a higher price to start.
Mhm.
Like the base price of that's pretty high, and they don't really budge a lot on it. Whereas like the series controllers, I think were maybe 60 or so, 65 maybe at most, and you can get them at lower prices all the time. It's like that's not they know, and I think a part of the reason why like is because the DualSense has all those extra features, so it does make it more expensive. They can't really lower those prices.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
I almost thought it was going to be PSVR that we were going to see. PSVR 2.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get PSVR 2 when they're like, oh, PlayStation has something for us. Like, and the thing was like this Edge. Yeah, I know in the PS4 generation, I believe there was like another third party made their own version of like this. So it's like, I'm kind of surprised Sony would put your effort into here. Like, I don't know, because I don't know many people that have bought the Elites. Not to say that the Elites are bad, but like people see that price tag on a controller and are like, for that, I could buy 3 controllers for that. Why?
Yeah, you'd think so, but the Elite is very popular. I think is it NPD where it's like one of the highest. You know, it's always ranking very high for accessories.
Yeah.
So people like those sort of things. I don't think there's anything wrong with Sony doing it. I mean, they are copying Xbox here, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you know, it's a good idea. It's a good controller. You want to give your players options to have something better.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the reasons they didn't show off anything about PSVR 2 was because earlier we got like a release window into next year already as to when the PSVR 2 is coming out. So we're probably going to get more information later in the year on that. So, yeah.
Well, there's the rumored data.
Especially with this price hike.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's the rumored state of play is coming September 8th.
In September, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. All right. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about some of the games that we were really interested in and that caught our eye and that we really want to play. And Burley, I'm going to start with you because this was from the Future Games show called God of Rock. So let's take a look at that and tell us a little bit about why you want to play this.
Alrighty. So this, when this trailer just hit, it's just ridiculous, but it's just so funny just to see like this is a fighting it's a fighting game.
Okay, Burley's audio is conking out on us now. So
yeah, it's a bit rough there.
Yeah. So, but
anyway. But this is a really cool looking rhythm fighting game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, stylistically, it's awesome. I didn't actually see this one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. I mean, I'm not a big rhythm game fan, but having the characters sort of fighting it out as you do the rhythm based, button prompts. That's really cool.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah, Burley.
He's back.
Yeah.
And it's on everything too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's coming everything and later this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So wish list now on Steam, obviously. Yeah.
Now I got to see someone playing this with like a guitar, Guitar Hero Rock Band guitar.
Yeah.
No. The Pokeball controller. Come on, Carl.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Is there like one button on that?
2, the top and the center stick.
Okay,
Carl, I think you're up next. What game really caught your eye?
It was a little title called Lies of P, which is it looks a bit to be like and probably is a Souls-like sort of game. It's third person sort of action gameplay. But it has a really interesting, like setting and story structure of like, I guess you're Pinocchio, you're a version of that.
Yeah.
And but you have like, you know, gun. You have like a gun arm at times, or like your modifiable arm. Which when I was watching it, it very much reminded me of like Mega Man. And I was like, oh yeah, you know, kind of just never thought about Mega Man as being Pinocchio, but he kind of is.
Yeah.
So,
this game was shown at opening night live, and it was shown at the Xbox event as well. So
yes, because this is going to be a day one Game Pass.
Day one, yes, yeah. So
yeah, and this time period and style is just looks really interesting, and I don't know. I hope there's a good, interesting sort of story playing out. It does seem like there's some of that, more so than other Souls games, which is why I have more interest in it, because that's not a genre I'm typically into. But as long as it doesn't dive too deep into it, I'm okay with that sort of gameplay. It's just the idea of like I have to die all the time and like, you know, work so hard to like upgrade my character in certain ways, and like the sort of like, I don't know, there's not a very much of a structured story to that world. Like this looks like it has those things that I would like to have in those type of games. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Lies of P. So yeah, kind of the art style reminds me of The Order 1886 in a way. Back when that game came out on the PS4.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah. Cool stuff. Yeah. So
this is a surprise that this wasn't, I mean, to me, because I think this people knew about this game, and it sort of leaked that this was going to be on Game Pass ahead of the show. But I was like, all right, what does that mean? I've never heard of this game. And then when I finally saw it, I was like, oh, okay, I see now. This is interesting. Yeah. You can see, like, if you're watching with us along, you can see the UI is very much, you know, Souls type of games going on there.
Yeah. Lots of boss battles in this game, it looks like. So, yeah, good stuff. All right. Lies of P. P is in Pinocchio, Carl. Yeah.
For sure.
They can't put Pinocchio because Disney will sue.
Yeah, of course. All right. Okay, I'm up next. I loved Telltale games when they came out. And of course, Telltale went away, obviously, but now they're coming back with The Expanse. And I'm interested to see if the interface and everything and the gameplay for these Telltale games is going to be any different now. So this was a behind-the-scenes gameplay first look. And I love how in the Telltale games, you have to make choices, and those choices affect the outcomes of the game and everything. And this being in like a space setting, it looks really cool. And then, of course, the anti-gravity situations and floating in space that you have to do. I'm really interested in this and to see how this plays out. So, like I said, I used to love playing the Telltale games, of course, The Walking Dead, and the Tales from the Borderlands. Obviously, Tales from the Borderlands 2 is going to be coming out as well. But The Expanse looks pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to playing it. What'd you guys think of this? Burley, what'd you think of The Expanse?
Yeah, it has me interested. Whether or not this is a game, I will try it.
I'm happy to see. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Burley. Go ahead. Yeah.
Shoot, I lost my train of thought.
Carl, go ahead, man. Carl. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to see this as this is the new Telltale, right? And visually speaking, just whatever engine they're using, like, looks like they have an upgrade. We're not dealing with the old Telltale engine that's just
those were terrible.
Dying, chugging along, just beating that dead horse engine. The Expanse is an interesting IP. I wanted to get into it. There was just so much to watch. I started it and I thought it was interesting, but I should maybe if I have time. they'll go back to it.
Yeah, Deck 9
Yeah.
is also working on this. So yeah, love to see how this plays out, and how more advanced this is from the older Telltale games, just like we talked about. So, and one other game that I want to talk about. So let's see. Let me get to that real quick here. So yeah, this is kind of a another game that I wanted to throw out, kind of like a kind of with an asterisk on it, because this was shown at the Xbox event. It's called Planet of Lana.
Oh yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to playing
Mhm.
this. This is kind of like an extra game that I'm really, really excited to play. And it really reminds me of like the game Inside, in a sense. But I mean, it's just the beautiful colors and texture, and then of course, and it's coming in spring 2023, obviously. But this planet, and these like robotic creatures you're having to run away from, and the platforming and the puzzles in the game. I'm really excited about this one. How about you guys? And of course, Game Pass day one, obviously, just like Life of P. So, Carl, I'll start with you. What do you think of Planet of Lana?
I was excited for this one too. This was also at the Xbox live stream.
Yeah.
It's one of the ones I was looking forward to seeing more of, and they showed this is an older trailer, I believe, that you're showing here, but they showed more actual gameplay.
Yeah.
Talking to you about the world and the characters. So like you're this girl and you have this little creature with you that helps you out. That
kind of reminds me of a Totoro type of character, little Totoro character.
Yeah. And that creature can sort of like hypnotize and like other creatures that are similar to it. So like you can use him to like stop them, like get them out of your way. You get these move obstacles. You can command your little friend creature to like move to certain parts of the area and like to help you get things out of reach. So it looks like the main sort of gameplay is gonna be like the fun, the like puzzle solving, not necessarily like life or death situation as much in like Inside and what was the other one? Limbo, where like your character is probably gonna die if they don't succeed.
Limbo
this
and
looks
Inside,
more fun.
the game after Limbo, Inside.
It looks great. Beautiful art style.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a game I'm definitely gonna download and play on my Series S.
Yeah.
If we're talking about the Xbox live stream, I think Pentiment had a really good showing there. If you're interested in that game, I would highly recommend watching the live stream interview segment from Gamescom, because just things you don't really think about that they talk about in this, how like the creator is like really into that time period, right, in Germany where the game takes place, and he talks about like the font, right, being really interested in like making sure the fonts are represented properly, and like the way the game draws the font as the text comes up is like someone's actually writing it with a pen, and depending on the type of font, it does it differently. So like there's some fonts that are drawn, there's some fonts that are pressed. It's just like there's so much effort and detail put into small things in that game that I was really impressed by it.
Yeah.
Whenever you have terms that you don't understand, right, that are of that era, or of characters even, like they'll be highlighted and you can bring up information, but the way it does it is really clever. Like that your screen becomes like sort of you zoom back as if your screen is like a page in a book, and there's an outer border showing you like which characters we're talking about here if you don't remember, or like what this term that we're highlighting means if you need to know. And it's like just feeling like you're still immersed in the game instead of like going out into some menu that's just like, hey, a glossary. It's really clever. It just seems like it's going to be a really good game. The one thing I wish that there was like voice acting, but there doesn't seem to be any voice acting at all in it.
Yeah.
Another.
Oh, go ahead, Carl. You were going to say.
No, it's fine. I said it's good.
Tales from the Borderlands 2. I mean, yeah, the new characters and all. I mean, we'll see how those play out. I'm interested to see how that is. The Dune game. I'm interested to see more from that.
The open world survival Dune, which sounds like a good idea. Those games are very hit and miss. You don't know if you're gonna be interested in those.
Yeah. And then, of course, Dead Island 2. I mean, like, they first announced this game back in 2014. And now it's finally coming out in 2023. Yeah. But, I mean, it looks gory and bloody and, and brutal as ever. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. So, yeah.
The Dead Island 2 trailer, I just want to go into that for a sec because I had a little thing because they're like, we are going to show gameplay. We're now going to show gameplay. And they don't show gameplay for what was a good 30 seconds or minute after they say that. It's all just cutscene, random, stupid talk. I'm like, you're telling me you're going to show me gameplay? Actually, show me freaking gameplay. Especially since this game, it went under wraps because they had the fall. There was the public falling out and all that between Deep Silver and what was the other company? But they had the falling out and all that, and then this game has been for so long we haven't seen or heard anything other than it's still in development. And it's like from what I saw of this, like I played the original Dead Island, I bought it on a Black Friday sale, fine game, but from what I saw of this doesn't make me want to go, oh, I need to get this day one.
Yeah. What did you guys? Okay,
this is still a game. Wait for it on Game Pass if it ever comes there.
What did you think of that game that they showed? It looked very like Bloodborne meets ancient China, like where winds meet. Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Carl.
It could be interesting. Yeah. When I was watching, I'm like, why are we watching a game that looks like it's running like 10, 15 frames per second? I can't. It's like it's hard for me to like feel good about what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
it just looks like it's chugging the whole time, or it just looks like there's a frame rate mismatch, something going on. Like I can't. It's hard to look at, But it looks like it could be a great, interesting game,
Yeah.
And then Dead Island. I wanted to say something.
Go ahead, man.
I actually, feel bad for Jeff Keighley and his show that like Dead Island 2 coming back leaked on the internet before the showcase. And then when he announced it, it's like, and I got one last thing to show you, and it's Dead Island 2. I was like, oh god, that must have hurt so much for him to have to like. It's like my closer got leaked. It's like I would be pissed if I was him.
Yeah, but you know who is supposed to be his closer? Kojima Hideo. Kojima. Of course, Kojima Song makes another appearance, obviously, and he has a new podcast coming out, and it's a Spotify exclusive. So, yeah, we'll see.
I cannot believe the two ads in this were terrible. The Kojima, Spotify podcast ad. I couldn't believe that's what he brought Kojima out for, and then the Pokemon like Mini Cooper concept car. I'm like, why is this here? What are we doing?
Well, I'm surprised Xbox didn't bring him out for their live stream to talk about Death Stranding on PC Game Pass, and then of course anything that he's working on that obviously is going to be an Xbox game. So I don't know.
That's they could save that for their show. Like Xbox's live stream was exactly what I expected, but it was at least I think better than I'd hoped, because I think the structure of it was really good and the interviews were all really, really well done. And a lot of interesting questions were asked, and you got a lot of interesting information about like just the design philosophies and learning about these games more than you need than just watching a trailer. So
right. All right, so
I just want to see if there's anything like that was interesting else. That Lords of the Fallen sequel. Gotham Knights. I actually really liked the trailer we saw here.
Yeah.
Because we got to see more villains. Like Clayface is going to be in the game, and Harley Quinn. So like that's always fun. I want more villains. like that.
Yeah.
Moonbreaker, the game that I was like, all right, Subnautica is Unknown Worlds is making a turn-based sci-fi game, and you know what? I wasn't impressed. It was I just not really into like it was miniatures. It was like if you're having a tabletop miniature game, and but the cool aspect is that you can paint these miniatures within the game,
Mhm.
and it looks like a really in-depth system for doing that. But it just doesn't look like my kind of game. Just disappointing. There's a bunch of like weird like okay, Atlas Fallen, what is this? Stranded Alien Dawn World. Yeah, Stranded Alien Dawn, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? There's like a bunch of these like sort of openish worldish looking games everywhere, right? Like they're just, to me, like I just don't know what they're doing with these games, because you get these sort of like big open world sort of third person action adventure type of games, and they all kind of blurred together outside of like Lies of P, which had like a very significant sort of setting and style to it.
Yeah. No.
It is weird, like too many of that. Or just not great trailers, I guess, because I feel like people just forget about those games. High on Life, again, like people are interested in that. It's just not really for me, but it looks funny, and I don't know if you guys have any interest in High on Life.
Not really. Not really.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah. So yeah, I mean that's been our topic of the show, of course, Gamescom, and a lot of the announcements and our reactions, and of course some of the games that caught our eye. So of course, for all of you video viewers, of course, the ticker that I was playing, you can check out those articles that have a lot of the trailers in them, so you can check those out. So I guess, Carl, I would say probably the number one game for me, obviously, is still Callisto Protocol. I mean, because I'm a big Dead Space fan, so obviously it's more Dead Space. So I'm looking forward to it. So, but yeah, The Expanse for sure, and Planet of Lana looks really interesting as well. So. All right, so let's move on. So it's time for the new game releases for the week of August 29th through September 4th. So Carl, you're up first. What is your pick of the week for new game releases?
Yeah, I went with Commandos 3 HD Remaster coming on August 30th, PC, PS4, Switch, Xbox. Fallen Soldier, Commandos 3 HD Remaster sends you to the relentless and unforgiving battlefields of Europe. Remastered in high definition, including reworked 3D models and textures, improved controls, and refined UI. I played one of these. I don't remember which one, and this is going to be on Game Pass, so like it's always a good pick. You can jump in and try it out. Yeah. Before I played these, and I remember like the first one I played, maybe it was the original. I loved it just because it's this like very strategic sort of like, I have these different characters who have different skill sets, like your sniper and your sort of stealth assassin guy, and you have this sort of meticulously designed like scenario that you have to. It's kind of like puzzling out how can I get through this without getting my guys all killed, or sneaking around, not getting discovered, not being seen. It's not super, like, it looks like there's action. Maybe this one is a little more actiony, but it wasn't really much of an action type thing.
Cool. And it comes out on the 30th. Yeah. So, and you can play it on Game Pass day one. So, yeah. All right. Yeah. So I'm up next. So next up is, dun, dun, of course, Destroy All Humans. So let me go ahead and get that playing for you. So yeah, crude humor, use of drugs, language, sexual themes, obviously, partial nudity, violence. So here we go. If I get it started here. So all right, there we go. All right, so That's right, Earthlings. Crypto is back, and this time he's invading the swinging 60s. After the KGB blew up his mothership, Crypto seeks revenge and travels to iconic places in the United States, the United Kingdom, the Soviet Union, Japan, and even to the moon. Destroy All Humans 2 is a full remake of the original game, adding and improving features while rebuilding the game from scratch in shiny Unreal Engine 4 visuals. So it comes out on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X on August 30th, guys. So, Burley, I'm sure you're looking forward to this one, eh? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to? I never played the remake that they did for the last one, so I still got to play that one, the remake of the first game.
Nice. Yeah. I love the combat sections here. Yeah. So, yeah, it's fun stuff. Cool. All right, Burley, you're up next. What do you got for us?
My pick of the week is Oblets. It's a farming town life and creature collection game inspired by Pokemon, Harvest Moon, and Animal Crossing. Manage your farm and grow and train your oblets, run a shop, explore strange land, battle with wild oblets and other oblet trainers, and unlock the mysteries of Ob. It's coming Thursday, September 1st to PC, Switch, Xbox One, no Xbox Series version. But surprisingly, no PlayStation.
Oh, that's interesting. See the little customizations you can do there. So, Halloween and stuff. Nice.
Yeah, I remember this game. I think, was there like an early access on this or something? Could be good.
Yeah, we've seen it at other showcases.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So those were our picks of the week for August 29th through September 4th. So, of course, all of you video viewers, you can check out the link below to releases.com. You can check out all the games that are going to be coming out. So, yeah. And in the comments below, let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about Gamescom and the announcements that were made there. What were your favorite games that were shown? Let us know what you thought. And, of course, new game releases. What are you looking forward to playing the most this coming week? So please let us know in the comments. So, all right. Next up, guys, I want to talk a little bit about the NPD report that came out for July. So the July 22 NPD report for the top 10 selling video games, retail and digital. So I'm going to read off the top 10. I'll start from number 10. Okay. So number 10 was F122 from EA. Number 9, Minecraft. Number 8, Digimon Survive. For all of you out there in the West. Number 7, Mario Kart 8. Still on this list. Number 6, MLB The Show 2022. Number 5, Call of Duty Vanguard. Number 4, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which is new on the list. Number 3, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Number 2, which dropped down a notch from number 1, Elden Ring. And number 1 is new on the list, and it was number 1, Multiverses. Yes, from Warner Brothers Interactive. So, yeah. And for the year, the NPD, top 10 selling video games. Number 10, Madden NFL 22. Number 9, Mario Kart 8. Number 8, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Number 7, Gran Turismo 7. Number 6, Call of Duty Vanguard. Number 5, MLB The Show 22. Number 4, Horizon Forbidden West is number 4. Number 3, Pokemon Legends Arceus. Number 2, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. And still at number 1 for the year is Elden Ring. So, Carl, any surprises there on this NPD list?
Well, Multiverses being number 1 is kind of says a lot about the month, because that is a free-to-play game.
Yeah.
So you got to imagine that, sales numbers aren't particularly high for any of these.
Yeah.
Digimon Survive jumping into there at number 8. I mean, that sounds like it's good for the game, but how high are these numbers really? It might not actually be good at all for the game launch.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good for that game to be on that list.
Yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles. I mean, that should be there, right? That's a big enough release.
Yeah.
Yeah. F122 being on there is a bit of a shocker, which might also tell you these might not be very high numbers we're talking about.
Yeah. Burley, you okay out there now? Any comments on the NPD list?
Carl had the same kind of comments I did. And my only thing is, like, if multiverse is that high, is that because multiverse is just because of the downloads, or it's raking in on the transactions? Because there is a lot of transactions in the game, I think.
Yeah, I would assume it's some sort of like initial bundle that they're counting as on this, right? They don't normally count, like regular microtransactions. So it must be some sort of like multiverses bundle that gives you all of the major characters, and that's considered like the game as far as digital sales go.
Yeah. All right. So next up, some programming notes. Obviously, after we record this episode of the Arena Multi-Platform Gaming News Podcast, we will be recording our next episode of the Marvelous Marvel Discussion Arena, She-Hulk, Superhuman Law. Attorney at law, attorney for hire. We're going to be talking about episode 2 of She-Hulk. Of course, our spoiler reactions episode we're going to be recording next after we record this episode of the podcast. So obviously on the Arena Productions, we don't just do only video game and video game news related content. Obviously we do entertainment content as well for movies and TV. And the Marvelous Marvel Discussion Arena is one of those. So please go and check that out. That will be coming up pretty soon after we record it. And of course, season 3 of Lower Decks, Star Trek Lower Decks, called Grounded. We're going to be recording our reactions episode to that as well. So please stay tuned for that as well. So we're looking forward to bringing that content to you. So we're really excited about that. And if you have any comments, of course, about the NPD numbers, anything you might have been surprised about, please let us know in the comments as well. And of course, if you like this video, please be sure to hit that like and the subscribe and the notification bell for when we drop a new video, whether it's the Arena Multi-Platform Gaming News Podcast or if it's any of our other content that we do here on the Arena Productions. We'd really appreciate it. So thank you so much for that. All right. So it's time to talk about the games that we're going to be playing this coming week. I'm just going to be continuing with Midnight Fight Express. And continue with that and see where that goes. What about you guys? Burley, what are you going to be playing this next week?
Continue on with Triangle Strategy in my own personal time, and Fall Guys, my daily addiction. But for streaming, God of War is going to be my main game.
Okay. Carl, how about you?
I still want to play more of Expeditions Rome. Like, I don't want to give that up, although I did just buy Soul Hackers 2, so I'm going to have to decide which one to play, juggle that here and there.
Cool. All right. So it's time for our indie recording artist spotlight. So this week's spotlight is on Cosmonkey. Cosmonkey is a music producer and beat maker with over 10 years of experience writing music. So working across various genres from hip hop to electronic music, they began their musical journey on streaming services and now collaborate with major music labels in the chill hop and lo-fi hip hop genres. From their album titled Down Love, and the song is called So Close. So this has been the Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, episode 101. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burleyman Gaming and Turn-Based Carl. We hope to catch you in the next one. So take care, everyone. Peace out.
So